Hey, what's up? It's another episode of Watch You Strappin, and today I have I guess I would call it an old friend back, but with some improvements, new and improved. This is the Glycine Airman Vintage, uh, the Chief. You see that on the dial, GL0303. That's it. Okay, yeah, it's a mouthful, but that's the full, I guess, name or of this model here. Where's this reflection coming from? Anyways, so yeah, I used to have this. If you've seen my channel a little ways back, like one of my older videos, I did a review on a very similar watch. It was the GL0251, which is essentially the Purist version of this. This time I have a GMT version, and with the the fourth GMT hand. I do prefer the Purist, but this, well, quick story. I had the Purist version, the GL0251, and exact same color and configuration. This nice radiant like anthracite dial with the blued hands, and I love that watch. But sometimes you go through phases and you decide that, okay, maybe I would like something else with the money I could get from selling this. And I just felt like it was time to maybe try something else. And I figure I could always get that watch back because it was relatively new. I believe I got it around early or mid 2019, and had it for, I think, about a year. But then, yeah, and I figure it's a model that just came out. They should probably keep it around for a while. I mean, even a year is, you wouldn't think it would be discontinued that fast. It's not a limited edition or anything, but apparently they kind of stopped making them. And on top of that, there was a time when there was a lot of glycines that were on the gray market, especially like you see them pop up on drop a lot as well. Um, and it was called something else at the time. It wasn't just drop. It was, I can't even think of what it was before. But anyways, do you know the website that has like a lot of discounted items? Used to have Hamiltons and Seikos, uh, even like Mueller, like it's a German brand. They had quite a number of nice watches, pretty decent watches on there for a pretty good price, and somewhat rather frequently too. Particularly glycines like the Airmans and combat subs, for example. But they all kind of just disappeared, and also whatever grey market you might have found online, maybe, I don't know if Jomas used to carry it or not, but there's definitely some that were on eBay. They all but disappeared, and basically I couldn't get that watch back. Only thing available was used secondhand market. And the only very few examples too that I found, they were mostly based in Japan. If I recall correctly, and it's not that long ago that I just checked, and they ran about, geez, well over, at least $1,000, even sometimes approaching closer to 2,000. I said, no, I don't think so, because I got mine for around 500 or so off of the gray market, which worked fine. There's nothing wrong with it at all. But yeah, I wasn't about to pay 4 times more, uh, for the watch second hand. So, anyways, kind of, I always keep checking to see if they might be back. Uh, no one was selling them, and uh, excuse me with all the but I'm a little distracted. No one was selling them for a while, but they also disappeared, or they've been sold out for quite some time, and they never restocked. It's only recently Glycine has made some more Airmans, and particularly the Chiefs, like these more vintage models. I would say the more older style. There's some other Airmans that look more modern. They don't have these handsets. The bezel design is different. And I guess the dial is a bit different too. It has a lot of them have the newer Glycine logo, either with the crown or most likely with the the crown with the wings, I guess. which it looks okay. I mean, design-wise, it's not a bad-looking logo, but doesn't look as good as just the crown or like this vintage, just the text. The ones with the wings kind of remind me of an Armani logo, and it's like, I don't like that kind of mix, identity kind of mix up with the logo. So, anyways, am I babbling on? Yes, but anyway, so they reintroduced these. I think the Airman number ones. They come in 36 and 40, and they look like they have them. And as well as these new Chiefs, they have the new colors now. They have this gray and blue with the blue hands, which it's my personal favorite. They introduced a couple new colors. They have a green dial, which looks really nice actually, and a radiant, like a blue dial. It has a bit of like an old Fotina kind of look to the loom, though. It's a little bit like, off-white or maybe slightly light orangey, yellowish, cream color type of thing. But I like this version, and I'm glad they have it back. But all of those, the number ones and these Chiefs, and I think there's basically the two general lines that they've updated is they all have now sapphire crystals instead of acrylic, and as well as up the water resistance. It's not fantastic, but it's definitely better than it was before. It's up to 30 meters water resistance. Yay, 30 meters. It's better than 10. I'm pretty sure the old one was around 10, if anything, maybe 15, but I'm pretty sure it was around 10 meters of water resistance. So I'll take 30 plus the sapphire. You get, although I didn't have a problem with the acrylic, I could buff it out with and polish it, making it look new again with some poly watch. It's still a hassle, a little bit of a chore, an extra, area to maintain from time to time, because it will get scratches no matter how careful you are. And so now that sapphire, you don't have to worry about that, and it's probably going to be just more robust because of that. And I think because of that sapphire, I'm not sure if they've improved any other areas, but I'm pretty sure at least that because they're using sapphire, that has helped up the water resistance a bit, up to 30. And now at least I feel better about, I have pretty much no fear of putting this under the faucet and washing it or rinsing it off if needs be, which I usually do with my watches. We're not going to talk about that today because it's not it opens a can of worms. Some people freak out, what, why are you washing your watch? Never mind, but I do, and I'm glad that at least 30 meters of water resistance will make sure that there should be no issues with water intrusion, because I don't like full blast it anyways. Put a gentle wash on it, so, and that's good enough. Anyways, again, this is the Glycine Airman Chief. And these, I did a video on this. Chief is basically a Navy model, and then the Airmans, although they're basically both all Airmans, was actually marketed more towards the Air Force. Yeah, I don't know why basically the design looks exactly the same, except for subtle differences, but not enough to really make it seem like there's a real need to differentiate, an Air Force or Navy version of this watch model. What else was I going to say? And also, the Chiefs were very limited. They didn't make that many of them. Maybe, gosh, there's somewhere on, I think, Glycentennial that will talk about it maybe more detail. But I think maybe they're only made for a year. Pretty limited run, especially, I think they were also only sold through, I believe, a German boutique called Turlo. It begins with a T. It's not Tourneau, but you look it up, it'll show it. And it was actually double branded, so you'll see that store or boutique name on the bottom, on the half of the dial. Anyways, today I am on, this is review. I will do a review on this, but my watches Strappin are just quick, impromptu. quick impromptu wristwatch check of the day with strap of choice, but today's a little bit longer. I just wanted to talk about this a little bit more. I'm big, excited to have this back in the collection. I'm a big Airman fan. If you see my videos in the past and even my posts on the various related watch-related social media platforms, I've had a few, and this is number, I guess this would be number 6 if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I've been quite through a few. I basically revisited this one, but in a new form and improved. And yeah, we'll get into that more of a detail on this review later. Just giving it a test run. I just got this a couple days ago, and I have this on a Haveston. I believe this is the Corsair. I love the olive color as well as the mix of the dark blue and the white stripe going down, and I think it ties into this watch and kind of this military theme, because these were a favorite watch during the Vietnam War, for example, by pilots, and they would order these through their postal exchange or PX, and yeah, they're pretty popular watches that weren't military issues, but a lot of servicemen bought them, as well as some other watches. And I kind of want to do a video on that, like the watches that I have, and maybe I plan to get, there is one more that are not military service watches, but they were popular and used by military service people, at least within the United States during especially around the Vietnam War era. And I think that'd be a kind of a fun one to do, but that's for another time. So, yeah, I guess that's about it. Rambling on enough, going on 12 minutes plus. So, with that, I'll just back up here, give you a wider shot, and because I need to get my weekend going. And I love how thin the Airmans wear. I'm pretty sure they're no more than about 12 millimeters thick. Probably less than that if you don't count that box crystal on top. And I think just about any model you get, whether it's an 18, like an Airman number 1, or one of these Chiefs, or one of the more modern ones, looking ones, like such as the base 22s or Airman 42s, which I used to have. You know what I mean? If your Glycine Airmans, they all wear very thin, even though they're lug to lug. It's kind of a little bit on the long side. They do curve down quite well. Sorry, my sleeve is blocking it, but you can kind of see maybe from this angle too. It's not really an issue with them, and it doesn't really. This angle might make it seem like it, but it really doesn't go even near past like the outer edges of my wrists. So that's the important thing. And they just wear nice, slow, and thin, as well as a combat series. I haven't had one, but I definitely tell, and I've seen, and people said it too, they were quite thin as well. So, and these are all really nicely made and original designs. And that's what I appreciate. It's not been homage to death, such as the GMT Master. And I don't know why no one really does homages of this, which is great. I kind of like the fact that, Glycine can be their own thing, and forget the Invicta, tie-in. They just help, bought them, and I guess they will help with their to fund them, but they're all still made in the same place, factory in Switzerland, and I've never noticed any quality change. And at least with their heritage vintage models, they haven't really changed anything. Whether those newer models that are a little bit larger and all are Invicta influence or not, who can say? But I don't really care about those. My favorite has always been the Airman. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next.